We're now joined by the party's Deputy President, Victor Serakalala. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, Deputy President. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, Mr. Ndoro, and good evening to the viewers at home.
You are calling for a government of national unity, but the South African masses voted in their numbers and put their faith behind the ANC to the tune of 57.5%. Why then would you call for a government of national unity that excludes them?
The challenges that we are seeing in the country, where every part of our economy that is touched by this ruling party is destroyed, is a cause for concern. The fact that the Minister of Public Enterprise, Mr. Pravin Gordhan, once said Medupi was wrongly designed and wrongly implemented shows that the ruling party understands nothing about governance. The fact that we've got former groups that were beneficiaries of apartheid that are able to institute a pseudo-government where you've got an AfriForum that is building its own university. They are now proposing to establish their own nuclear energy, and they've got their their legal system that is operating outside government. It shows that, truly speaking, the government currently is unable to meet the needs of the society. It is therefore in the national interest that the ANC gives way to a government of national unity where the society shall be planned according to what developmental needs are concerned.
Might your mind be changed by the President's State of the Nation address?
We have no hope in the fact that this state president has continued to make a State of the Nation address for almost 5 years now. Remember, he took over in 2017. Since then, nothing is happening. In actual fact, we are experiencing load shedding. We are experiencing exorbitant cost of electricity, and the cost of living is so high such that the ordinary person on the ground is unable to meet the required exorbitant costs of the economy currently.
Is a government of national unity a serious proposal by your party? I mean, if we look at the state of coalition governments, they are literally tearing apart at the seams. Surely a government of national unity won't be able to do much.
The proposal we are making is not only consisting of political parties. We are calling for civil society. We are calling for non-governmental institutions. We are calling for a business sector to join in formulating a new pact, a pact that will redesign governance in this country in such a manner that it will be hard for any party to become corrupt. Because what we have noticed as a PAC is that corruption is at the helm of all the challenges that we are facing. And we think the 1993 agreement gave us as African people a raw deal.
The elections are scheduled for sometime next year, so that's just a year. Is it not easier to help the current government rather than dissolve it?
If the very same political party that is in power is proposing a state of disaster on Eskom, which might even open up the chances for more corruption, we cannot trust them for more than 18 months because we have experienced corruption during COVID-19. What more do we want to see? Because currently we are in a crisis that, if not kept, the country will fall apart.
What do you think are the solutions? Perhaps energy is the biggest one that's concerning every single South African. What have you been able to discuss over the weekend as a possible way out to keep the lights on?
Of course, to keep the lights on requires a proper administration, and that is why we have declared the ANC government as a state of disaster, because everything they touch gets destroyed. So we are not confident that even if we were to put any solution under the supervision of the current leadership of the African National Congress, there will be anything that will be achieved, because there's a deliberate effort of thievery by the leadership of the country.
But what solutions do you have that you'll be able to put forward as part of a government of national unity? What are some of the key changes that you could put in?
Our proposal as the PAC is that we need to put our national interest at the center stage of development. At the heart of everything is our national security, security on food, security on our economy, security against crime, security against corruption, and security against any form of retrogression that we have seen thus far in the last 30 years.
What else came up this weekend at your executive meeting beyond asking the current government to step back? What also came on the radar for you?
Of course, part of the decision that we have made during this weekend was that in all coalition governments where we are participating, we need to continue monitoring progress. And as a result, that is why we called for the realignment of the Mfumuleni municipality, where we are actually participating as a coalition partner, so that we remove the current mayor and replace the mayor with a capable mayor that would lead service delivery at that local government administration.
Were you able to put a finger on why coalitions are so volatile and what needs to happen to get the stability that's required for service delivery? The
design of our democracy could not preempt the predicament that we are facing. And as a result, we were not, as a country, prepared for a proper coalition system that would lead into the kind of stability we envisaged. That is why, as the PAC, we have also issued out a public policy debate on coalition that will be going to the entire nation, the civil society, institutions of higher learning, and structures of the PAC, so that we debate proposals that we have proposed in the coalition proposed policy, so that we stabilize governance forever.
Have you started to engage with opposition parties about this idea that you're trying to moot?
Of course, the decision was made during this weekend, and our NEC meeting ended up today, Mr. Ndoro. And as a result, from tomorrow, we will be engaging not only opposition parties, because like we have already indicated, this cannot be the role of only political parties. Political parties on their own cannot offer solution. We want civil society movement, we want Council of Churches, we want the trade union movement, we want NGOs, and we want the society to take part in the reshaping of a new pact that we propose as a PAC that will ensure that we establish a government that will serve our national interest.
It sounds like you're calling for mass action and that people to march against the ANC, because that surely is the only way you'll be able to remove them from government, given the 50%, 57% that they have in parliament.
Marching against the ANC may not necessarily help in this regard. That is why we want the participation of all sectors of the society, because we do not expect that business will march. But however, we are aware that business plays a significant role in determining and reshaping the direction the country is supposed to take. Because, like I am saying, we want to protect our national interest, and as a result, we want to involve all civil society movement and all sectors of our society to make it a point that we enter into a new agreement, an agreement that will coincide with the predicament that the country is finding itself in today.
Mr. Serakalala, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thanks for your time.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Ndora.
Have a good evening. All right, that's Victor Serakalala, who's the Deputy President of the PAC, and they're calling for a government of national unity to step in to run the country and for the ANC to step back until the next elections. And this government of national unity won't be just of political parties, but of civil society and people at large to act as custodians of our country until the next elections.